Today we will look at a problem which addresses this content standard for 3rd grade math. We will be looking at a problem that will address the last part of the standard, which says exhibiting rectangles with the same perimeter and different areas. Here's our problem. Jill wants to make a pen for her pet snails to live in. She only has 18 inches worth of materials, so she decides to try out different designs with paper first. What are 3 different possible rectangular areas she could make with a perimeter of 18 inches? Which option would be the most area for the snails? Let's look at our physical model first. As you can see here, I've made a rectangle using little pieces of paper that are 1 inch long each. As we look at these rectangles, we're going to be measuring on the inside of these squares, because as you can see, if we go on the outside, that's going to add in a little extra area there that we don't want. So looking at the insides, we have one side that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches long. So both of these long sides are 8 inches, and then each of these ends are 1 inch. So we know that our perimeter is 8 plus 1, which is 9, plus 8, 17, plus 1, 18. Perfect. So our perimeter is 18 inches, exactly what we want. And the area is going to be 8 times 1, or 8 square inches. So it seems a little small. Why don't we see if we can try and make a bigger rectangle by moving some of these squares around a little bit. So we created this new rectangle using the same amount of strips. So now we have 2 long sides that are 6 inches long each, and then our ends are now 3 inches long. So we still have 18 inches for a perimeter because we have 6 plus 3, which is 9, plus 6, 15, plus 3, 18. 18 inches all the way around. But now it looks like we have a different area. So remember, to find the area, we multiply the side times the length. So 3 times 6 is 18. So remember, on our last rectangle we had an area of only 8 inches. Now we have an area of 18 inches. Let's see if we can make another one by moving these again one more time. Wow, look at that! It's another rectangle. This time we can see that we have sides that are 5 inches long and then 4 inches on this side. So remember, we're looking at the insides of these pieces of paper to make sure that our measurement is right. So, does this still have the same perimeter? Well, let's make sure. If we have 5 on this side, plus these 4, that's 9, plus these 5, so 9 plus 5 is 14, plus 4 is 18. 18 inches all the way around. Looks like it's the same perimeter. But remember, on our first example, we had an area of 8 inches. On our last one, we had an area of 18. What would the area on this one be? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. So now we have an area in here of 20 square inches. That seems like a lot more, doesn't it? I think Mr. Snail will be very happy in that pen. Let's look at some illustrations of each of these examples, just so that it's in our minds a little bit clearer and we can see the number sentences all written out. So here's our first example. This one has one side or length of 8 inches and then one end of 1 inch. So we see that the perimeter is 1 plus 1 plus 8 plus 8, which equals 18 inches. Now the area, which is what we're looking for, is 1 times 8, or 8 inches squared. So you can see how that works out with that rectangle. Then when we moved some of the pieces down onto the side from the length, we got our second area, which was 6 inches along one side, or along the length, and then 3 inches on the sides. So our perimeter is still 18 inches. As you can see, it's 3 plus 3 plus 6 plus 6, or 18 inches. And this time the area is 3 times 6, or 18 inches. So on this first example, our area is 8 inches squared, Now it's 18 inches squared. You can just see how much bigger that is. Now on our last example that we did, it was even bigger, wasn't it? So we see that our perimeter is still 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5, which is 18 inches. Great, that's what we need, 18 inches all the way around. But now our area is 4 times 5, or 20 inches squared. Not scared, squared. That is the biggest area yet, isn't it? Which area do you think that Mr. Snail will like the most? 20 inches squared? 18 inches squared? Or 8 inches squared? Well, if we line them all up, we can see that the 20 inches squared is most definitely the biggest area. I think Mr. Snail will love that one. I love the 20 inches squared. It gives me so much room. Remember, kids, you can still have the same perimeter, but different areas. Thanks, Jill. I love my new pen.